Hi, I'm Hailey Huspek. I'm a Director of Development on the digital team at the UND Alumni Association and Foundation on campus. I studied abroad fall of my junior year, which was 2017, I believe. I studied abroad in Lyon, France, but I also studied in Marseille in southern France because I did a 2-week pre-semester trip. I want to travel, but I've never really had the opportunity. So when I got to college and I saw and heard of all these people that were going abroad under the guise of education, and while we do learn a lot overseas, there's definitely more opportunity to travel around. So I used studying abroad to get overseas. I did learn a lot. I can now speak a second language, which I couldn't when I got there. But I definitely used studying abroad as my opportunity to see the world, which I did, and I'm very thankful for that. When I first think about France and my time abroad, in my program at the university, it was all people that came from different parts of the world within this program. So I was in classes with people from Japan, Korea, Mexico, all over. And there was a group of about 5 or 6 of us that we'd walk across the bridge, which across the river, and we'd get crepes at this crepe restaurant. They had sweet crepes, savory crepes, coffee, tea, you name it. And I just remember we'd go there like every Wednesday, and we'd get, I'd always get a savory crepe because that's my favorite. Didn't know that I always wanted to study abroad per se. I always knew that I wanted to travel around the world. Like I kind of mentioned before, studying was kind of a gateway into seeing the world, but I never really expected how much it would impact me. My program was language intensive, so I had class 5 days a week, 8 a.m.s. Yes, the only 8 a.m.s I had in college were in this program, but it was worth it. So I saw a picture of France, the Eiffel Tower. It was either in a video or just a picture somewhere in a class. I can't remember, I was very young. And I don't know, just something clicked with me that I was like, I want to go see that in person. I want to be there, and I want to see those people, because it was a picture with the Eiffel Tower with like people in front of it. There's some people at a cafe and some people just walking by, and I was like, I want to stand there and I want to see that in person. And I don't know what kind of determination I've had for that I didn't have for like other things in my life, but I was like, I'm going to make this happen. And when I actually did, it's pretty incredible. But as far as picking Lyon, close to the Alps, and I don't know, it's like, depending on which poll you look at, it's the second or the third largest city in France, so it was manageable by my standards. And yeah, I consider it a home away from home now. If I ever lived in a city, it would be that one. Okay, so I recommend not doing what I did, which is go to a foreign country and not know how to speak any of the language. I knew how to say hello and goodbye when I got there, and I didn't know how to ask for food at a restaurant. I didn't know how to ask where the bathroom was. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to talk to people, which I found out after I got there the first couple weeks. That is very hard because I couldn't understand anything that people were saying to me. I couldn't read any signs. It was it was an experience. I recommend taking a year or two of a language and really making sure you understand the basics. I'm not saying you have to be fluent when you go over there, because my program that I did, like I said, it was language intensive, so it took people that had never spoken French before and taught them how to speak French. But I would definitely say you should have a slight grasp when you get there, but don't rely on things like Google Translate. Don't rely on them, or if you have a friend who's an advanced French speaker or language speaker, don't rely on them to answer questions for you or ask for extra bread at the restaurant. It's definitely important to push yourself a little bit. I stayed in the food capital of France, which was very nice. So there was a lot of very good French foods, as well as very good Italian food and Asian cuisine. I tried to stick mostly with French foods while I was there because I wanted to really experience authentic food, if you will. And then my host family cooked a lot for me, which was very nice. First, it took me about a month of living in France to adjust my palate to the food, just because, I mean, think about it. The cheese they have there is like the fine aged, a little bit more bitter cheese. They don't have Kraft singles on the shelf, and you can't just get a block of cheddar. So that was definitely an adjustment, just having like the bitterness. If you don't like the food right when you get there, after the first week you're there, give it some time. Your palate will adjust, and just like when you come back, it will have to adjust back. Obviously, that's not going to take as much time. But you will find that you have cravings for the finer things in life once you get back to the U.S. My housing options, there were options to stay in dorms, single dorms, double dorms, so you'd have a roommate or not. Staying with a host family, and the staying with a host family, I'm not going to lie, was significantly more expensive. Includes, I think it's breakfast and dinner they provide to you in that. So I mean that there's that, and then they pick you up and drop you off at the airport, and you're literally living in their house. To live with a host family just because I didn't speak the language. I knew I would never get out and practice speaking or explore the city if I was on my own. Not to mention I'd get very homesick because I had never been out of the country before. I definitely wouldn't have seen as much of the city if I hadn't gone on tours with my host mom and host dad and tried all the foods they made for me. I had a host mom, a host dad, and a host brother who was 12 at the time. So he would speak English to me a little bit, and I'd speak French to him a little bit. So it was kind of a dual tutoring session right there with how to teach French and all that. So they're very patient with me because I came in and my host mom asked how much French I could speak, and by the fact that I couldn't understand what she was saying to me, she picked it up very quickly that I didn't know any French. But she sat and worked with me every night. We'd sit at dinner and she'd be like, Hailey, what's this? And she'd ask me like how to say fork or how to say knife, how to say plate. Very basics in the beginning. And then after a few weeks, it was, okay, how was your day? So I'd say, like, I walked to school, and I took the tram, I went to the store, and she would work with me after school, really, and to make sure my French was better, we'd write down verbs in a notebook I had and my vocab, and she would ask me randomly 2 months in, Hailey, what's this? And I'd say, oh, it's a fork. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until tomorrow to decide where you want to study abroad, start thinking about the country. Don't wait until tomorrow to reach out to your study abroad advisor because they are very helpful. Definitely don't wait until tomorrow to figure out what you need for a visa. I will tell you that right now. But even when you're over there, don't wait until tomorrow to go see that park or stop by that museum or go to that restaurant. Because you run out of tomorrows. So I didn't get to see everything that I wanted to see, which is unfortunate, but luckily that's all the reason to go back. This gives you a little insight into what it's like to study abroad. I loved my time abroad, and I can't recommend it enough to people. I know there are some programs that have a very rigid, structured program from start to finish, but even if it means studying abroad in the summer, do it. You're not going to regret it.